Hi, we have a new equation. Here is the left side of the equation is represented by the left side of the picture. For example, this 1 is this 1 block, and these 3 x's are these 3 x blocks. And the right side of the equation is the right side of the picture. And the equal sign in the equation means that the two sides are balanced. So if we click is it still balanced, it's not going to tip either way. And in fact, we'll get that green check mark. That means it's balanced. Now, what can we do to solve this? We're not actually ready to begin solving it yet because the equation has been written in a way that could be simpler. It could be a little easier to understand. The way that the picture is drawn or the equation has been written is a little harder than it needs to be. For example, these 3 x's and these 2 x's are in the same pan. So we could just stack them up into 5 x's and it would be the same weight, but it would be a little easier to look at. In the equation, you can see the same thing because 3x and 2x are like terms, and they would make 5x. You can combine them because they're both on the same side of the equation. They're both in the left side. They're both in the left pan. So we can combine them. Well, what else could we drag together and stack up? What other like terms are on the same side of the equation and can be combined? Well, these two 1's, we could combine those. If we drag them together, it's not going to make the left side heavier or lighter. It's just going to be easier to look at. So let's move this one and combine it with its like term over here, this one. Did you notice something weird happen though? Did you see the little question mark? Why did that happen when I put this here? What's that question mark about? That's because a 1, this little green 1, is not a like term with x's. So if you try to combine a 1 with x's, the computer's like, I don't know what to make of that. They're not like terms. So if you get that question mark, just keep dragging it to where you're really taking it. Are there any like terms over here that we could combine over on this side? Well, these two, okay? The 4 and the 4, if we stack that up, that would be 8. And that's because this 4 and this 4 are like terms. And if you combine them, you get 8. They're on the same side of the equation, so we can do that. What else can we combine? Well, this 2x and this 1x would make 3x. So let's combine these. So I have to drag this x through the 1's to the 2x's. It's not a like term with the 1's, but it is with the x's. Now we haven't solved the equation yet, but we've made it look a lot easier to understand. It should still be balanced, we can check that, but we didn't make either side get heavier or lighter, we just moved things around and stacked them up. So it should still be balanced. Let's check. It is. Now we're ready to begin solving it. When we solve it, our goal is to have all the x's on one side of the equation, and then have the 1's on the other side, so that we can match them up and say each x balances with how many 1's. So again, we want to have all the x's on just one side of the equation. Well, do you see that we actually currently have x's on two sides of the equation? We don't want that. So we're going to have to take x's off of both sides until one side doesn't have any x's anymore. Okay, we're going to have to get rid of all the x's on one of the sides by taking away from both sides until they're all gone from one of the sides. Let's do that. So now we have all the x's on the left. Now we want to make sure we have all the 1's on the other side. Then we can find out each x balances with how many 1's. We don't want to have 1's on both sides, so we'll take away 1's from each side. We'll take them away from each side until there are no more on this side. Here you can see I made a mistake because I only took 1 from the left but 2 from the right. It's not still going to be balanced. This will tip because I didn't take equal weights from both sides. Watch the scale tip. It's not balanced right now. My mistake was I didn't take the same number of 1's from both sides. This I took 2, and here I didn't take 2. I'll take 2. So now on one side we have only x's here. And on the other side we have only 1's here. So now we can try to find out each x balances with how many 1's. each of these x's balances with how many 1s. And because we have two x's, we will make two groups. We will divide by however many x's we have. So I'll divide by 2. And now you can see each x balances with 3 1s. We can check it. It's still balanced. It's not going to tip because we divided both sides. And it says we're done.